What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. Today we're going to be going over the review scores for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom that is coming out for the Nintendo Switch tomorrow, September 26th. Earlier today, reviews did go live and they were pretty good. You know, top-down 2D Zelda games have been doing well. We've seen Link's Awakening, of course, Link to the Link Between Worlds back when the 3DS did well. So we're going to go through a few of these reviews and see what the publications are thinking about these games. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Let's get right into these reviews. So first off, Metacritic has given the game a 86 overall, which is generally favorable, with 69, nice, positive reviews and 5 mixed reviews. So we're going to go through a few of those and see what everybody's saying about the game. So we'll start with Shack News. Shack News gave the game a 10 out of 10. They said that longtime Zelda players will be smiling from ear to ear when they roll credits. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is full of wonderful surprises, engaging gameplay, and tons of stuff to do in the biggest top-down iteration of Hyrule yet. So, of course, this is made by Grezzo, who helped develop the game, so it does look like the Link's Awakening remake from 2019. And a few people were kind of excited, but also kind of worried about the game, considering it is the first Zelda, standalone game where she's the lead character. But we've seen they did take a lot of these Breath of the Wild elements where you're collecting items, making echoes as they call it, and copies of items. So it seems like this reviewer, Shack News, did like that, and they said fans of the series will like it too. Not just is it really cool gameplay switching the formula up, but it's also has an expansive version of Hyrule that we haven't seen yet, so that's good to see. Now moving on to The Enemy, who gave the game a 10 out of 10 as well. They said that Echoes of Wisdom is a great send-off to The Legend of Zelda's most successful era. The game is the ending point for a very clear path started by Breath of the Wild and continued in Tears of the Kingdom, of games that have an unyielding faith in the player's ability to solve problems in very creative ways. All of that is combined with the structure of classic 2D era Zelda games. So again, like I said earlier, they are taking a lot of those inspirations from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as far as, trying to figure out the game in more unique ways, not just one way to do a puzzle or you get one specific item in a dungeon and then figure it out from there. They're clearly taking those mechanics and then applying it, kind of bridging the gap between the 2D and the 3D Zelda game. So I think they did a really good job here with that. Next up, we have Nintendo's, which gave the game a 97 or 9.7 out of 10. And they said that The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom has managed to surprise me by mixing the limitless creativity that the 3D games of the franchise have and offering with the classic flavor of the two-dimensional Zelda games. Playing as Princess Zelda is a breath of fresh air, and mechanics such as creating echoes of bind give room for many possibilities. So pretty much what we've been saying so far in this video, just the creativity of the 3D games and bringing it to the 2D space, not limiting the game to just, the 2D mechanics that we're used to. Next up, we got Press Start Australia, which gave the game a 9.5 out of 10. They said that The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom elegantly bridges old and new Zelda with grace and gusto. The ecosystem is inventive, the dungeon designs are strong, and the whole experience feels like everything a classic Zelda experience would be. While minor performance issues hold Echoes of Wisdom back from everything that it could be, they're only minor blemishes on an otherwise stellar adventure fit for a princess. So that's the first thing we've heard about performance issues. Again, Switch 2 on the way, so that should probably clear a lot of that up. So glad to hear that. Now we have Gaming Bible with a 9 out of 10, and he said it may have taken nearly 4 decades, but the first mainline Zelda game with the titular princess in the lead role was worth the wait. This is a magnificent adventure that whizzes and pops with imagination and profoundly stands shoulder to shoulder with the very best of Link's tales. If this is the Switch's final Zelda game, and surely it has to be, then we're going out on a high. So like they said, this game is, even though it's a little different than regular, Zelda games with Link as the main character, it stands right toe to toe with those games. So that's good to hear as well. So now let's hear about some of the 8 out of 10s from the some reviewers. So we got The Gamer here, who gave the game an 8 out of 10. They said, despite how much joy I mind conquering its temples and delving into its many rifts, at times it doesn't push its ambition far enough. that never stops echoes from being a warm hug of a video game that enraptured me from start to finish, but it does leave me infinitely more curious about what the future holds. Now, Zelda has helmed her first epic outing. It's only a matter of time until she goes into bigger and better things. And this is an interesting take. So a lot of people are thinking this too, like, where does the series even go after Tears of the Kingdom? They kind of did the impossible on the Switch, right? Like, just the amount of mechanics and creation tools and things like that. Now you're wondering the same thing when it comes to 2D Zelda, where you tried to bridge the gap, you made a pretty good game, and now you kind of have to think like, what is next? Like, where can you push the limits? Are we going to have Zelda in another 2D game? Are they bold enough to put her out on a 3D game, even though people may not, want that as much? We'll have to see. Now we'll go over to Video Chums, who gave the game an 8 out of 10 as well. They said, although it's a mostly great experience, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a clear step below the S-tier Zelda games like Twilight Princess, Tears of the Kingdom, and so forth. There's still plenty of fun to be had if you're a fan of these classic Zelda games, and perhaps this return to that formula is the shakeup that the series needed following Tears of the Kingdom. Now, what I will say about this is that's kind of unfair, is you're comparing this game to Twilight Princess and Tears of the Kingdom, which are two of the best games in the series, and they're also 3D. I feel like to make a comparison, you'd have to compare it to Link's Awakening, the Oracle games, games like that, Link to the Past, even if you want to go that far. But to compare it to Twilight Princess and Tears of the Kingdom or Ocarina of Time or anything like that, I feel like isn't fair. But I do understand what they're saying, like, hey, this is a great experience, but it didn't feel the same. Like, it might feel like a side project. It's not an S tier game. Maybe it's a B plus or A tier game. So I kind of respect that a little bit. Now let's talk about some of the mixed reviews. So there was only a couple, but I want to talk about them. So we got Twinfinite, who gave the game a 7 out of 10. They said, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom has a lot going for it. There's a lot to do and discover without being overwhelming. The visuals are vibrant and fun, and the characters are cute. Although the controls can be annoying at times, it is satisfying when you finally get past an obstacle. It will be interesting to see where Nintendo takes us for the next Zelda installment in the future. So again, everyone's kind of saying like, okay, where do we go from here? This was a great game. But this is the first time I heard anything about the controls being an obstacle or annoying. Like this sounds very skill issue-y, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna kind of ignore that and just move on past that part of the review. And then surprisingly, we got a 6 out of 10 from VGC, so Video Games Chronicle. They gave the game a 6 out of 10, saying that despite some ambitious ideas, beneath the surface, Echoes of Wisdom is surprisingly uneven Zelda adventure. Few of its headline mechanics are utilized to their potential, which means that while enjoyable and charming, it ultimately feels less essential than other modern 2D entries. So that's kind of interesting to hear. And I mean, there aren't a lot of modern 2D entries, or what you would consider modern. I guess you would say Link Between Worlds and then the Link's Awakening remake. But yeah, I guess they feel like the game had great ideas, but it's not pushed to the limits of what it could be. Like they could have did it a lot stronger, which I guess you could say the same thing for like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where Tears of the Kingdom just took the game to a whole nother level. But I do not think we would see a sequel to this game. The same exact mechanics, who knows? But I guess I understand where they're coming from there. And then for the last review, it doesn't have an exact grade, but I always like to include these work in progress from some of these more established publishers. But we have Polygon saying it's a fun as hell game. It's challenging, satisfying, and it fits neatly in the established mythos as another incarnation of our beloved heroes. There's a real sense of accomplishment in conducting a herd of boomerang-wielding bokoblins as they pepper every enemy with attacks, and then conjuring a bridge made of beds to cross an unjumpable gap. Sure, you might not be swinging the sword, but Echoes of Wisdom proves that the pen, or the bed, table, crate, or boulder can be even mightier. So that's obviously a pun on the pen being mightier than the sword. So it seems like they like the game. I'm essentially guessing they'll give it like a 8.5 or higher once we get the final score from them. But that is pretty much the reviews. Now, you guys let me know, are you interested in picking up Zelda Echoes of Wisdom? I'm interested in the game. It's not a day one for me. There are other games that kind of have my interest, especially that are coming out. You know, you got Frostpunk 2, we got Metaphor Refantasio. I'm still finishing up Elden Ring, so there's a few other games I'm kind of looking forward to, and I think this game may go on sale if you're lucky, maybe around Black Friday or sometime early next year. You could probably get it for like $45 or $40. I don't really think shelving out $50 or $60 for this game right now is really worth it, so I'm looking forward to it. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you feel about the game, and please subscribe if you have not already, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.